Welcome to this week's Astral weather report for January 27th through February 1st. I'm Jeremy Gene Wilson with the Light Army. I come on here every 6 days to share with you the astral neutrino shifts in our outer environment that affect human behavior so that it's not confusing or distracting and it's something you can take advantage of and leverage. So the theme for this next 6 days is purposeful trajectory. I like to say that this is a time where you choose the future you're building, right? So you're going to feel a continuity from last week, a deep desire, knowing what you want, knowing what you don't want, having a little bit more emotional sensitivity, and having an opportunity to course correct, to shift your trajectory, right? It's about calibration. So this cycle, mentally and emotionally, really sharpens desire. And you have to be able to discern between, what the mind wants is comfort, the body wants just to relax, experience the senses, kick the feet up, and the soul wants growth. So, there's always going to be a little bit of a tug of war and a little bit more emotional sensitivity, future direction. Things are going to feel like, should I stay or should I go? Plucking petals from a flower in some ways, but with a deeper sense of awareness of why you want what you want. This can be a really powerful transit. So people might just feel like a heightened emotional awareness around your goals, around your relationships, and a deep urge, a strong craving for change, but also paired with uncertainty about direction, right? With change comes uncharted territory. So there's like a little bit of sensitivity, whether your path actually feels aligned or not, and a pull to reassess needs, reassess what you want before committing to the future. It's the gap between devotion and obligation. So the tension is a little quiet, but yeah, it's decisive. Desire wants to move. Desire wants to manifest. So you might feel a little sensitivity of righteousness around what you want. Don't get caught in selfishness. Focus on what you want for the whole, not just what you want for the self. So yeah, this week, your trajectory matters more than speed. You can go really fast in the wrong direction and it gets you to a place you don't want to be. So this is really about calibrating the trajectory. Mind your breath, mind your step. Maybe you take a step towards something and go, maybe I don't want that. The sun has moved into the 41st signature. So you can see that 41 is a theme from the last transit. And so that desire, our imagination, our vision, our delusion of dreams, the seed of our dreams is planting right now. And so, it can show up as fantasy. And if there's not commitment, it creates like a deep emotional hunger that's not really healthy. And you can find yourself chasing futures that don't really fit or align with your values now. So, the best thing to do is focus on less and obsess. So like if you had to narrow your desires down into a bucket of desires and you could only pick three, which three would you pick, right? It's about having a sense of disciplined imagination. We'd all like to go on vacation on a cruise ship, all year. And maybe not, I'm just joking, it's a metaphor. But it's about choosing your future consciously. Be realistic. The thing that the enlightened person did before enlightenment that they continue doing after enlightenment was chop wood, carry water. So, the future begins with the desires in your heart if you're willing to aim correctly, but don't take your foot off the gas of necessity because there's things in your life that you don't desire that are just a part of being human, right? The earth has moved into the 19th signature. This is gate 19 in human design. It's all about sensitivity. It's all about being aware of our needs. So in this transit, you're going to notice, right? Like desires versus needs. A lot of times we can confuse our desires for needs. And needs are the things found in Maslow's hierarchy. Go find yourself on the edge of a cliff. Feel the fear there. That's real fear. That's discernment between danger and false evidence. Same thing with our desires. Sometimes moving a step closer to something that we say we want, but we're acting like we need it. We find out, do I really even want this thing? So, the distortion and the way this can show up in detriment is just, like I said, neediness, desperation, urgency, which can show up as scarcity. You might be a little emotional, reactive if your preferences, right, are superseding, taking over your needs. But don't choose paths from insecurity, comparison of what someone else is doing. That's the biggest thing this next 6 days is don't get caught in a freaking highlight reel feed and compare what you have to what others have. It'll just create more neediness, more emotional reactivity, desire, unhealthy, disempowering desire. So yeah, demonstrate some EQ, some emotional intelligence this next few days. Set some clean boundaries around what you want and don't overexpress it. But everything always in life comes down to conscious commitment. You have what you've committed to. So when you connect to a desire, ask yourself, what commitment would I have to make to achieve that? And then measure whether that's really a need, something you want to do or something you need to do. But yeah, your trajectory, the calibrated direction you're going, that's what that is. Always stabilizes, has more balance, more consistency when your needs are understood, not avoided. So get really clear on your needs, get really clear on your wants. That's the biggest key this next 6 days. But just, avoid chasing futures to escape discomfort. A lot of people, it's really easy to get caught up in what we don't want and then just pick the opposite is what we do, right? I don't want this or I don't want that, and pick the opposite. I don't want to be broke. I want to be rich. No, get clear. How much do you need? Where in your life do you want more harmony, right? Oh, this stuff's broken. I want to exit. Well, let's focus on improvement and progress instead of cancel and ditch, Definitely don't act on desire without that emotional clarity, the emotional clarity between the gap and need, and don't make any commitments from a place of insecurity or FOMO or fear in general, right? Also avoid blurring your boundaries to maintain connections. Don't kid yourself. Some things, doors just need closed, cords need cut. Sometimes it's habits, sometimes that's people, sometimes that's a pathway, a career, a monetizable product. Just choose paths that, don't honor your real needs, and you're going to end up an angry, pissed off person. The best way to leverage this is just, like I said, clarify your actual desire on every level. The desire I have for my community, for my family, for my children, for my spouse, my desire for myself. Make sure you don't just show up with selfish desire. What do you want for the world? Allow your emotional awareness of that desire, especially compassionate desire for others, to be a navigation device. A lot of people don't get what they want because they don't help enough other people get what they want. Famous Zig Ziglar quote goes something like that. So also choose pathways and futures that stabilize your nervous system. Let your needs refine your ambition behind your desire. Truly get clear. What is the coin you have to put in the operating system for life, for your business, to not think about money, so that then you can focus on fulfilling others' needs. And any commitment that you're losing dignity or self-worth. What are some different commitments that you could anchor self-respect and self-dignity and increase your self-worth and self-image? Because you'll never out-earn your own self-image. I would sit down this next few days, just it doesn't have to be a book or a big journaling session. Just write down a paragraph or a sentence describing the future you're moving toward, right? What happened, if it's already true? Fast forward 90 days from now, a year from now, however long you can extend your vision, but try and keep it short term, like a month from now, 90 days from now. What's the future I'm moving toward? I identify one clear desire out of the bucket. Like I said, you might have 50 desires right now competing. Break it down to one that needs refinement before you take action. And pause before committing emotionally or professionally to anything that you don't have that refinement dialed in. Strengthen a boundary. I always say we'd end up in the ditch if we didn't have lines on the road. Paint keeps us in line. Yeah, so strengthen a boundary in your life that protects your long-term path. Maybe it's in your health. It's you know what? I might not go to the gym every day, but I'm going to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I can commit to that every single week, and that's going to protect my long-term path of health. Maybe it's your mindset. It's hey, I'm going to do X amount of walking time, walking meditation a day, and stillness, sitting down, ringing the sound bowl, or listening to some meditation audios, whatever that is. What's one thing that will definitely help your long-term path? Does this trajectory support who I'm becoming and who I want to become? Last but not least, just be with a couple self-inquiry questions this week. Like, what's the future I am unconsciously moving toward if I don't shift trajectories? This is about purposeful trajectory. Number one principle of outwitting the devil is be definite of purpose. So is it on accident or is it on purpose? Is it intentional or are you drifting? So like, what is the future you're unconsciously moving toward if you don't shift trajectory, if you don't change and calibrate your path? And just, as far as relationships are concerned, I would ask myself, which relationships support my trajectory and which distort it, which, create pull. That's what I got for you. This week, the Breakthrough Lab will be about mastering influence, intentionality, how to show up intentionally and wield more influence. You don't have to be manipulative. You can actually create outcomes that serve the greater good of all, which is tied right into this theme. So if you'd like to be there for the Breakthrough Lab, we are going to start charging here in a couple months, but we're curating a nice little group of people that really appreciate showing up. So I'd love to see you there. In the meantime, I will see you in 6 days. Bye for now.